Hey everybody, what is going on and welcome. Well, how is the Crow fam doing right now? We're live. Oscar Ramos, Ken Timsit, CRONOS Chain. Another huge interview with the one and only. Please, Crow fam, in the chat right now as you're live, show me the excitement you have for CRONOS, for crypto.com, for our chain, for crypto. If you have any comments or so, leave them right there, please. And I'll go ahead and take a look at them and we'll probably pick some by the end of this live. But I'm not by myself in this one, and that makes me really happy. Ken, how you doing, friend?
Hi, I'm great. I'm great. Thanks. It's great to see you, Oscar, and thank you for the invitation. Great to meet everyone as well who's connecting live right now.
There you go. There you go. We have some friends coming in, as here in the US might be a little early or so, but good morning, evening, and everybody watching us. Very happy to have you here with us. Now, and it's a lot going on right now. That's, I think, for developers and for the audience, for community, we all are seeing it. In fact, it was 7 months ago that we had our conversation. It was December 2023. Wow, like in these 7 months, I remember seeing you having a space talking about the testnet CK EVM back in December. It was a Space on X, and now you just had a conference. You were talking about in the Ethereum community conference not that long ago about the lessons you learned. So there's, in my opinion, a lot that you can share with the Crow fam as far as those lessons, as far as those insights, and that's a couple of the things that I want to get in this conversation. Plus, the community, I ask the Crow fam for any type of ideas, comments, concerns, and they also have some that I have here on my list. Plus, I also want to talk a little bit about memes. As here in CRONOS, we had some excitement with those memes, and I mean, it brought a lot of volume, liquidity ideas, but of course, lessons as well. So, tons has happened, and I just want to pick your brain right now immediately, Ken. Like in this 2024, what's really keeping you, awake at night, seeing you how the growth, the ecosystem in crypto is moving forward.
Yeah, so definitely 2024 has been exciting so far, and I think the second half of the year is going to be pretty eventful as well. I expect. As far as the CRONOS Labs is concerned, as far as the CRONOS Labs team is concerned, really what we're the way that we're trying to manage our priorities is to be agile in the short term because the crypto sector is highly attention driven and hypes come and go. So we're trying to be agile in the short term and to provide exposure to projects that capture well the trends of the moment through the marketing support that we are providing to those projects. And of course, at the same time, we're trying to build for the long run and put chips on the chessboard that we think are going to help the ecosystem flourish in the mid to long run. If I look at 2024 so far, the year started pretty quiet. Then we had a huge interest in meme coins that permeated the whole ecosystem, but also I think found a very strong product market fit with the CRONOS user base who got really excited by that. And the explosion of meme coins in the good sense, right? You could be seen on the various metrics. So if I look at the CRONOS ecosystem, we could see that the weekly volume of VVS went from $20 million to $120 million around April or May. The combined market cap of all CRONOS ecosystem projects went from $3 to $6 billion. The number of daily transactions increased 5 or 10-fold depending on the day. So there was really a strong momentum that was created by that. And as is often the case in a cyclical industry, we are now right now in a period of consolidation, which the where I think activity is still strong and healthy on CRONOS, but at the same time, as is often the case, some users who may have joined the trends later than others, joined near the top, and they are understandably disappointed or frustrated that they joined too late and that the upwards momentum did not continue forever. But I think that's part of being in a cyclical industry. So we've been in the consolidation phase since mid-May, beginning of May. Now with the US elections looming and the expected election of Trump leading to a change of crypto policy in the US government, I think we're already sensing that the crypto ecosystem now again believes that mainstream users are going to come back, believes that some real use cases are going to come back, that the real world asset hype that has been expected by everyone will finally become a reality. So I think we're going to have probably still a very volatile summer, just because it's summer and there the markets will be waiting and seeing what happens in the news, what happens with interest rates. But as we get closer to the end of the year, we all hope that the market will be starting again to build on strong fundamentals, and again, most importantly, will become a welcoming place for mainstream users. I think the regulatory clarity and kind of having a welcoming regulatory environment for everyone in the world is really important for the growth of crypto in general, but even more for CRONOS, who's really a place for mainstream users, and I'm really looking forward to that.
It's hard to be the pioneer, right? Because so many unknowns. The market in cyclical. I think you've been mentioning that a while right now, and totally agree. This is my first full year cycle personally, and I totally get it. Entering in 2021, 2022, right now it seems like unreal. Like, wow, we're actually going back to that bull cycle. We're consolidated. DeFi, GameFi, blockchain, it's moving so fast, and there's just new technologies. And if the chain is not adopting them, the users are going to leave. So it's a battle. So appreciate that. And I think you mentioned that too, the external factors that we have here in the industry, a new government here, possibly here in the US, inflation coming down, cuts coming in, ETF as well, Ethereum. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, not Solana also proposed. Like, wow, so fast and exciting for the future of crypto, right? So that's good, and I think that plans a good way ahead for CRONOS, in my opinion. Now,
yeah,
there was
also I think that the understandably many users are asking about token prices and expecting tokens to go up. I think it's really important to remember why we are here and what crypto is about. I think crypto is about providing the tools for users to have financial freedom. But financial freedom comes with opportunities and also a cost. And the cost is that you have to kind of you can't be handheld all the time. You have to learn by yourself what is the right investment strategy depending on what the market conditions are. The first quarter of 2024, really most people were focused on airdrops. And so, having yield farming techniques, being able to understand the rules of airdrops on various chains was really the key success factor. And you had to do that in order to take advantage of those opportunities. Second quarter was about meme coins, and to some extent, it was very volatile, but it was also quite easy for users because technically meme coins are not hard to use. You just need to look at price trajectories. I think when we're in a consolidation period like right now, there are still tremendous opportunities for people who want to enjoy their financial freedom. there are APRs that range between annual yields that range from 50% to 500% on the various dApps on CRONOS, and we can talk about that, right? But just this morning I was looking at the yield on CRO, it's 500%. The yield on ETH, CDC ETH on DVS is more than 20%, plus 50%, I think. So there are still opportunities, but when you're in a consolidation phase, it's less about token prices and it's more about extracting yield from your cryptos. And of course, that's a bit harder to do because dApps are technically more complex to understand. So I think there are still many opportunities everywhere. It's just the strategy that you have to work, to adopt in order to pursue those opportunities changes over time, and you need to be very agile as a user to understand what's the right strategy given market conditions.
100%. It takes a while for a user to understand what you just said. I fully get it. You come to crypto and we want expected instant gratification returns. I get it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just that just look at the cycle, and it is what it is. Now, I was going to mention that on CRONOS, there was a recap posted where CRONOS posted a great summary of what just happened on different dApps, partners, meme coins. So shout out to whoever's doing it. If you're watching, everybody, please go ahead and take a look at the CRONOS official X page because everything's there. I know it's a lot. There's a lot of posts right there. But it's good if you really want to be engaged, right? So FY. Now, again, the last time that we spoke, it was 7 months ago or so. CRONOS TVL, I know that's a topic, right? CRONOS TVL was, I think, at a rank higher. Numbers-wise, I believe it was lower, but ranked-wise was higher. Right now, we're looking at 17th place bridge TVL and roughly 19th normal TVL compared to all the blockchains. Now, I'm referencing DeFi Llama. There's many places where you can track that, but just to mention them, what's your opinion on that? Like, because ever since that I've been tracking CRONOS TVL, it seems like our ranking is going down, and there's other different chains that are passing us. And I remember seeing CRONOS at a much higher TVL in the top 10 years ago. We were right next to Solana. We were right next to Tron or so. And I mean, I'm just saying what I'm looking, right? That's it. The facts are like rank-wise, seems that we're falling behind. What's your take?
To put things in context, so the CRONOS, so the TVL that is relevant here is the DeFi TVL, and to explain what it means to users. So the TVL measured by DeFi Llama measures the amount of crypto that is invested in DeFi protocols. Some other chains look at bridged TVL, which measures simply the amount of crypto locked in bridges. For example, in the case of L2s, they look at TVL as bridge TVL, so that's the amount of crypto that is locked on Ethereum, on the bridge between Ethereum and those L2s. In the case of CRONOS, most of the inflows and outflows go through a centralized exchange, crypto.com. So the bridges are not really meaningful. However, like the TVL invested in DeFi apps is meaningful because DeFi is such an important use case for the chain. So that TVL was about $350 million at the beginning of 2024, reached just below $600 million in April. Currently, it's at just below $500 million. So it's been, I think, roughly, it's been increasing a lot in the first quarter and then moving sideways, mostly as a result of the evolution of crypto prices, right? The trajectory of TVL has largely followed the trajectory of CRO price. And indeed, what you're saying is true. We were well in the top 10 in 2021, 2022, and 2023. We're in the top 15 at the beginning of this year, and now CRONOS is in the lower end of the top 20. However, I think it's important to... So look, when you look at the rankings, there are some chains who really are here to stay and are showing strong fundamentals. I think CRONOS is one of them, but definitely Solana, Polygon, Optimism, have consistently shown strong user traction and are built on healthy fundamentals. I think really the standout success of 2023 was Base. Congrats to them. They managed to build a community of self-custodial users around Coinbase, and that was really successful. But also in that top 20, you have chains that kind of come and go because at some point there is an expectation of airdrops or strong inflow that is driven by investors, and that may not be meant to last. So I think we all have the ambition that CRONOS will have some of the largest liquidity in the ecosystem, but I think we should take pride in the fact that CRONOS performs consistently and is built on healthy and authentic fundamentals. Also, I think we need to constantly repeat to community members that in the end, what matters is, given your crypto and your quest for financial freedom, are there opportunities on CRONOS that are attractive to you? To some extent, the TVL is a vanity metric in the sense that it's one that is very important to me and to the CRONOS Labs team, but it doesn't change much for the user who is looking for trading opportunities and yield opportunities. And so I want to, of course, recognize that there is more work to do, but I want to also encourage users to focus on what is really meaningful to them, which is they need to look at the dApps, they need to look at trading and yield opportunities on the dApps, and those are still very attractive on CRONOS. And I think that there's much more that they could take advantage of if they do a bit more research and uncover opportunities that are constantly offered by the dApps.
100%. It's when I talk to the community members, that's something that it's a concern that they always bring to the table, and I'm like, great. I mean, when I have a chance to talk to Ken, I'll go ahead and pass it on. But you're right. I mean, our protocols, they continue working. There's some other ones, and I see that what you call the yield bearing, like it's there. Like if you want, we have earned now. There's different partners that are coming into CRONOS and are bringing opportunities. It's up for us, right, to bring and use them. Now, perfect opportunity to segue to one of the most important parts of this interview, which is layer 2 ZK EVM. One thing that you, friend, you've been on it, and you obviously know more than anybody that we are watching this one. And I want to pick your brain on that, because one of the things that I think a lot of my Crow fam know is how to understand the parallel between the three chains that we have. What do I mean? CRONOS chain, layer 0, CRONOS POS, layer 1, CRONOS, which is the EVM, and layer 2, ZK EVM, right? So that's what I see on chronos.org. And layer 2s are great for what? Scalability, fast, cheap fees, and more. And I know the testnet, it's what you've been working on. The mainnet is about to start soon. We have the passage going on, over 30 plus million crows. So congrats to the Crow Fund. That's really exciting. What, in simple terms, you would like to teach the Crow Fund right now listening about this new layer 2 that is providing value to mainly, right, first and foremost to developers, because they are the ones who are going to be bringing all these dApps for users to pour in?
Yeah, so first of all, it's important to keep in mind that all three chains have their own reason for existing and their own value proposition. So CRONOS POS remains positioned as you mentioned, kind of the layer 0. So it is the chain, the only chain where Crow is issued and staked through a decentralized governance. So CRONOS POS guarantees the security and decentralized governance of CRO, the utility token of the ecosystem. The CRONOS POS is also used a lot by Crypto.com for payments, for the NFT trading infrastructure that underpins Crypto.com/NFT. CRONOS POS is very cheap, very fast, but by design, it's not meant to be open for any developer to deploy their application. And so that's where the EVM compatible chains come in. Their goal is to provide an ecosystem and an infrastructure where any developer can deploy and build their own apps. CRONOS EVM is what we call an alt layer 1. It has been our focus for the last 2-3 years in terms of developing the ecosystem. CRONOS EVM will continue to exist, and the way I see CRONOS EVM is really that it's meant to be the safe and easy chain to for most users and for mainstream users. CRONOS EVM is and will continue to be very close to the Cosmos ecosystem because it's an EVM blockchain based on the Cosmos SDK. And as we prepare the next upgrades of CRONOS EVM at the end of this year and beginning of next year, we are going to see CRONOS EVM adopt 2 big technological innovations that are coming from the Cosmos world. So one is interchain accounts, and the other is parallel execution. And we can talk about that a bit later in terms of what that means. But the short story is that the developer team is continuing to invest in CRONOS EVM and adopt innovations coming from the world of Cosmos chains. And so over time, CRONOS EVM will continue to be, will become faster, cheaper as well, and will continue to be kind of the safe and accessible chain for most users. As for CRONOS ZK EVM, the reason for CRONOS ZK EVM to exist is really that we think that the CRONOS community is great. The developer community is great as well. And we want to give more exposure to those communities, to the integrated community of Ethereum L1s and L2s, which are really the 1,000-pound gorilla in crypto. That's where most of the users and the liquidity are. And so we really don't want CRONOS to be cut off from that ecosystem of Ethereum L1 and L2s, which is going to be increasingly integrated thanks to the L2 technology. So we really want to create a bridge between the CRONOS ecosystem and the broader Ethereum ecosystem. We also want to use that opportunity to make sure that CRONOS can attract institutional users, corporate users, real-world use cases for which the security of Ethereum is a very important consideration. The decentralized. So a layer 2 by definition is a chain that is built on top of Ethereum and benefits from the security of Ethereum. And as we could see with the ETF applications, the security of Ethereum is something that's really meaningful and recognized by institutional and corporate investors. And it makes sense for CRONOS to take advantage of that. I would, however, expect, and so CRONOS ZK EVM will be probably the first L2 ever to be launched using the ZK Sync technology. So it's going to be the first chain that uses the ZK Sync technology that is not ZK Sync era. So it will be a groundbreaking achievement. I think CRONOS ZK EVM is also, because it's built on a blank sheet of paper, it's also an opportunity to be a bit more experimental. to deploy more sophisticated DeFi use cases, to take a bit more risks with bridges and the way that we're promoting applications that are more at the bleeding edge of innovation. So I think for DeFi and for advanced users, CRONOS ZK EVM is really going to be a great place to experiment. But again, I think CRONOS EVM will remain a very strong chain, and it will continue to cater to most mainstream users in a way, continuing on that positioning of the last 3 years, which is we want CRONOS EVM we want CRONOS EVM to be easy to access, simple to understand, and really safe to use.
Hey everybody, what is going on? And welcome. We have Ken Timsit here from CRONOS Chain. Thank you, Ken, for that. A lot of us need to understand that dynamic of layer 2s, layer 1 especially. I mean, to me, it's a bit easier to understand because I've used Polygon before, which is obviously what really helps Ethereum navigate faster. So for us now in CRONOS with the POS, layer 0, that's, I think, the key. And you said it. If we want to really get all those fellas in the millions of different dApps and bring them here on CRONOS through bridges, they might come to ZK EVM and then to CRONOS EVM, right? That might be the idea as far as how they could navigate to us, because it seemed a little bit difficult to just get them to CRONOS EVM directly, but opening up this door through the ZK EVM, there you have it. Now, disclaimer, I'm not a developer, but I am a passionate member of the Crow fam, and I'm trying to bring answers to the table, and that's it. And that's what we have, the one and only Ken. Okay, that's really good. I have one question from a community member asking about the validator boats. Seems that according to what it's been out there, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, most of the Crow or ZK Crow that's been asked by, it's going to the Veno validator. So is it putting too much weight on that validator when it comes to boats?
So I think it's a valid question and concern. Indeed. So to clarify for people who may not know, so currently, so CRONOS ZK EVM is using a new a token called ZK Crow as the gas token on the chain. And ZK Crow is similar to L-Crow, so it's a staked liquid version of Crow, meaning that when you hold ZK Crow, you hold a token that represents liquid staked Crow locked on CRONOS EVM chain and staked on the CRONOS POS chain, and therefore that token accumulates yield, and so it grows in value over time without the user having to do anything. So ZK Crow is powered by Vino Finance, which is one of the main dApps on CRONOS EVM. And indeed, at the moment, the way that the Vino Finance protocol works is that the Crow collected by Vino is staked on a single validator, which is the Vino validator. Currently, the Vino validator ranks, I think, 16 out of the 100 top CRONOS POS validators. So it's nowhere near too big to fail. It is, of course, it's one of the big validators, but it has, it is by no means close to becoming too big or dominant among CRONOS POS validators. We're still very, very far from that. So I don't think that there's any concern or risk in the short to mid-term. However, as I mentioned before, one of the big development priorities for CRONOS EVM is to introduce interchain accounts, and it's quite complex to implement. But the bottom line is, we think that there's a path towards Vino being able to stake collected Crow on multiple validators on CRONOS POS. So the next step would be that Vino would then establish partnerships with selected validators who offer sufficient operational guarantees. And then there would be an opportunity for the CRO to be split among multiple validators. It's not straightforward to do at all. So my understanding is that for the Vino team, there are still many months of development work needed to get there. But that there is definitely a goal around achieving greater decentralization of that stake.
Appreciate
but again,
that, Ken.
I think right now we're nowhere near. So the Vino validator is nowhere near too big or dominant. It's just one sizable, but not top validator. So there is no really. It's not a concern for the short term.
Appreciate that, Ken. Thank you. And this parenthesis, I adore my Vino. That's what I do. That's where I put most of my CRO. I really like it since my good friend Agent 00 Tectonic Ambassador preferred explain how it worked, and we actually talked. That's the beauty about the CRO fam. You got a question, you can DM somebody on X, just learn, and that's the beauty. Discord, join the Discord on CRONOS. There's obviously Q&As, and we help you out, but it's good. So this is just the beginning. Like I said a couple minutes ago, the pioneers, we get to see all the struggles, the questions, the concerns, but later on when we have mass adoption, boom. Now, my community knows, and I'm seeing some comments, and I have some comments, and I cannot, of course, miss this topic, which I want to talk just briefly, for a while, but because I want to get your thoughts. They already heard my thoughts, but they want to hear your thoughts too. When it comes to meme coins, right? Kind of opening up this bubble, this space on what happened, Ken, on CRONOS chain, starting February, all the way till May or so. And so everybody is on the same page, right? Seeing a starting project, Pro with Knife, launched, created because of the Pro with Knife NFT, one of the first ones, if not the first one, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, got a lot of info right now. But that had the community anchored in. They created a meme coin, and the rest is history. And we saw what I've never saw in my life so far, a CDC listing, which took the price to new levels, increasing volume, interest, to spectacular, buys, and increasing other different projects to build on that momentum. Here we are today in July, and things have changed. But Ken, what are your thoughts on what happened on CRONOS meme coins, and do you see coming back again?
Definitely, like I said before. So first of all, I want to congratulate the project leads and the communities that have created those important projects, who have dominated the ecosystem during the first half of the year, and are still, right now, when you look at the stats, still display healthy activity. So Cow, Mary, currently, if I just look at the numbers, the in terms of daily active users, so Mary at the top, then followed by Cows, followed by Loaf, are in the top 10 among all CRONOS dApps in terms of monthly active users. So they still continue to display healthy activity. So so congratulations to those teams. Like I said before, I think there was a very strong market momentum that drove those projects to new heights, followed by a period of consolidation. And so we're in a cyclical industry. We are right now in a period of consolidation. Things come back either in the same state or in a new and improved state. So I definitely expect that those projects will continue to build their communities and grow over time. Now, I think it's great. So I think it's great that Cow managed to get listed by Crypto.com. other listings took place, right? There are, Mary has announced several custodial exchange listings during the last few weeks, and it's great for them. Now, at the same time, I think we need to be, I think if there's a single focus on like either crypto.com lists a token or it's the end of the world, people are bound to be disappointed. CRONOS is a self-custodial ecosystem. So what we're building is really an ecosystem where users have the tools to trade and invest their crypto. And the gold standard for us is decentralized exchanges. The gold standard is to create the tools for people to be able to trade without giving their cryptos and their keys to someone else. So I think I'm really glad that some projects got custodial exchange listings. To me, having success on the DEX is also a very positive outcome for a project, and shouldn't be seen as failure. Listing on a custodial exchange is a double-edged sword. It usually comes with a strong price appreciation in the short term, but unless there is continued interest from millions of users in the project, the correction can be devastating as well. And so I think custodial exchanges are used, they have a long experience looking at projects, and they kind of know when a project is primed to be listed and what are the conditions for that to happen. And to some extent, if they don't list a project, we should give them the benefit of the doubt and understand that sometimes they know better and know that maybe some decision might not be that great for the users in the mid run. So I think we need to be. So again, I think the meme coin momentum is here to stay. I think there are some very healthy fundamentals on CRONOS through the various projects. I think we need to be open as to the range of outcomes for those projects and not be single-minded on whether there's a crypto.com listing or nothing. I think there are a range of outcomes that are very attractive for users as well, and so those are perfectly acceptable and successful outcomes as well.
Appreciate
and again,
that.
I think for many people who don't understand, I don't work at crypto.com, right? So I work at CRONOS Labs, which is the ecosystem development entity of CRONOS. So I have no insight or bearing into any listing decisions. The best that we do at CRONOS Labs is we promote the projects. We make sure that they have visibility. We make sure that we inform our various ecosystem partners about what's going on in the ecosystem. So I'm not trying to, I can't speak for crypto.com about what are their listing criteria. But I've been in crypto for a while, and I know that the listings can be a double-edged sword, and I think it's important to be moderate, to take a step back and recognize that when the time is right for it to happen, it happens. When it's too early, it's too early, and we need to continue building towards that.
Thank you, Ken. When it comes to meme coins, it's always it is what it is. These are meme coins, right? It just happens that we are now on CRONOS, and they are native CRONOS projects, and because we are a very passionate, jealous, intensive community, small community, like we want the best, and I totally get it. I also wanted to give a shout out to, and you said it very right. The purpose of a decentralized community is not to give your assets to a custodian, and that's 100% right. Because, parentheses, 240 million just hacked by an Indian exchange. Just made a video about it, guys. I know it's attractive exchanges. I give you that. These are not your assets when you hand it to a custodian. End of parenthesis. So decentralized. What that means is that we had some amazing decentralized exchanges that they helped throughout this meme coin season. BVS Finance, Ebicius Bay, Moonswap. We got Doodoo from Chucky Project, and other ones that if I missed, my apologies. These are the ones that come to mind. But that's awesome. I had the privilege of talking to them, to some of the developers, to understand really what goes behind to the token, Ryoshi token from Ebicius Bay, then Moon when Wolf Swap, right? And obviously on Solana is push.fun. Pump.fun, I think so.
Push.fun is on CRONOS.
Yeah, pump.fun. But here on CRONOS, our fellas from the Boomer Squad, Push, created push.fun. And that one has created some different exotic projects that these are meme coins. We're a little bit bored, or we have a great idea. Let's bring something to fruition. What's your thought on that, kind of the creativity of the crowdfund that's right now, especially with push.fun?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's push.fun, and also the various meme coin infrastructures, the dexes. They all. I think I've been really impressed by their ability to build something that works and that is easy to use, and also they're great hustlers in the best sense of the term. Right? They are able to get the community around those projects, get the community excited, get people to root for them. So I think that what has always been great about the CRONOS ecosystem is that it's a community of very practical people, both on the user and developer side. They're not trying to invent moonshot projects that are only a handful of people may be able to understand. They take the best of what's happening in crypto, and they're trying to create their own version of those things that already work, usually by making them easier to use and understand, and also by creating a passionate community around those. And so I've always been very impressed by Ebicius Bay, by Boomer Squad, by Bollies, with Doodoo and Moonswap, kind of those projects that have been building for a while, but have had their time in the spotlight more recently. And I'm really, I think those are great innovators, and I'm really awed and impressed by them.
You can appreciate that. Now, obviously, we can stay here for much longer, but I respect your time. I want to go ahead and start with some community questions that I asked on YouTube, on X, on when I posted this announcement. And these are questions that are coming on, and make them more digestible here so we could all benefit from it. So when you go to CRONOS.org, scroll down, it's so beautiful because I see 100 million, it says right there, 100 million community, the crowdfund, which I love because that is, I believe, the number, of course, that we have in crypto.com users that we just received not that long ago. And that's amazing. I mean, that's where we're striving to be, the registered users. But oftentimes the community members here of the crowdfund, I've heard, that it doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like we have that many people active on chain, and feels that, especially right now with the meme coins, it opened up this concern of oftentimes it's just a pump and dump. And we had VVS IMOs, a few of them, right? And we saw growth. Some of them got listed, and they got demolished. In that, us listening to the to the community feedback, that has them, asking questions as far as what is this, right? Is this all? Is that it? Or why does this keep happening? And question is, what's your take on that? Like, is that something that should stop as far as from VVS adding these IMOs, or what's the mentality that the crowdfund should have in your opinion when it comes to this, as there's a reported number of 100 million, but it seems like we're lacking in that department when it comes to users here.
Absolutely. So my perception is that so crypto.com has had great success acquiring new users in the last few years. They have built an incredible brand. But for most users, the path towards using dApps and the path towards self-custody, it's really a long journey of learning and also making mistakes and learning from those mistakes, unfortunately. And specifically given the timing of the astonishing growth of crypto.com, I presume that many users have been hit by the FTX and Terra episodes and are now are between that and kind of the regulatory stance of the US government, they have taken a fairly conservative stance, and in the last couple of years, and have not experimented much with new dApps. So I think it's a journey. Clearly, the meme coin episode demonstrated to us, at least to me, that massive addressable user base exists, and when there are projects that they can understand and use easily, they can really mobilize around those projects. And so for me, the success of meme coin projects was proof that we really need to make an effort to create accessible projects that are easy to use and understand. And when that happens, the community is here to adopt them. So I think when I look at the CRONOS ecosystem, the North Star continues to be, let's keep building for when mainstream users come back to Web3. Hopefully with just the passage of time and the regulatory changes in the US, that era will come to happen. The tremendous success of CRONOS EVM at the end of 2021 and 2022 shows, in my view, that when market conditions are right for mainstream users, CRONOS can benefit. And so I think we just need to build and wait for that to happen. But again, I don't want to I don't want the message to be let's just wait, right? I think that's not at all what is happening. What is happening is that right now, without waiting, there are tremendous opportunities for CRONOS users if they want to invest their crypto, if they want to generate yield for their assets. I think they don't need to wait for that. Those opportunities are right here, right now, available to them from the various dApps. At the same time, I think when it comes to rankings and number of users and kind of all the KPIs that we want CRONOS to demonstrate in competition with other chains, for sure it's a journey, and I expect next year to be great. But it's not at all. The narrative is not just like let's wait. I think right now there are many things to do already.
Thank you, Ken, for that. Appreciate it. It's we've been waiting. I think the entire CROFAM, not only CROFAM, the crypto users, has been waiting a lot. And when we saw that 73,000 Bitcoin or the halving, it was like, what is happening? Then we saw a correction, but we're getting so close, and the billionaires know it. It's just a matter of a little bit longer. In the meantime, build, period. We got another one when it comes to community support, especially, decentralized exchanges, or in this case, meme coin projects, as they want some financial marketing support. They haven't seen so much, especially right now as the consolidation period. They have the Pioneer. Now we have the Pioneer CKEVM CRONOS Pioneer program that's targeting this new layer to change, which is great. I think we need to develop there, which is important. But in the CRONOS EVM sector right now, as there's many meme coin projects waiting, holding on the line, they ask me what kind of help from Chronos they can get, what kind of access to you to the team they can get is if they want, that arm of support.
Yeah, so definitely the focus has been on marketing support and kind of helping to put the spotlight on projects in recent months. So we are doing that through bi-weekly ecosystem recaps, through monthly newsletter releases, as well as regular Twitter spaces. Jay from our team is leading that, and I think he's doing a great job. So thanks, Jay. There are always projects asking for financial support, and really, it's a case-by-case evaluation that needs to happen. So there is no generic answer that I can give. I think anyone who's looking at this ecosystem development from with a business perspective will understand that when the main use case is meme coins, for example, there's not much that an ecosystem can do, right? I mean, meme coins have their own life. Some succeed, others not. It's not because you give a $5,000 or $10,000 grant to a project that it will become more or less successful. There's not, I think as an ecosystem development entity, CRONOS Labs can't really determine or support the success of a meme coin in any meaningful way. The best that we can do for those projects is really to continue doing what we're doing, which is to provide exposure and marketing support. I think we're doing that. So over time, the business case for providing grants will evolve and will depend on the specific projects that require help and what is their stage of maturity. There is no single answer. It's really a case-by-case evaluation.
Appreciate it, Ken. Thank you. We got another question here, and thank you, Craig, for your question here on the live chat. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. By the way, everybody, just wanted to give you, as we were just mentioning and talking about CKEVM, Chronos New Layer 2, in the description, I have put the link of Ken's keynote speech at this Ethereum Community Conference. So if you're interested, after this one, click there and you will be able to watch this 18 to 20-minute video. Very interesting. If you're a developer, you're going to love it. But just FYI, all right? Now, this question, I think I already know the answer, but it was a big one from my community. And shout out to Black Sea for continuing this effort. Obviously, I see it. But here it goes. Binance burns some BNB from the quarterly profits, and that's something that was noted by some community members here on Chronos. The question is, do you think we can burn a percentage of Crypto.com quarterly profits like Binance does, as reducing the supply of CRO and making it, more scarce and potentially making the price much higher? What's your thought? What are your thoughts on that?
So really, it's a question for Crypto.com, and I appreciate that people who want to ask questions to Crypto.com, they ask them through whatever channel they can, and so many of those end up on my doorstep. But I can't really speak for them. I can, I think personally, I'm glad that Crypto.com doesn't, I think I'm glad that we're building Chronos in a way that there is clear separation between the self-custodial tools that are being built and the regulated business of Crypto.com. Because to me, that is the key to long-term sustainability. I think it's, if there was any, like if I wouldn't like to be working in an ecosystem that has a utility token whose price is influenced by central actors. I think I'm glad to be working in an ecosystem where there is a utility token. That utility token is fully controlled by the decentralized governance of CRONOS POS. Things are clear, things are sustainable in the long run, and things are easy to understand. So look, I think everyone who holds CRO, and I'm one of them, would like CRO to the price of CRO to increase, of course. But I think more importantly, we want the CRONOS ecosystem to continue to evolve on strong foundations. And those strong foundations mean that the utility token must be controlled by decentralized governance. And to be fair, that decentralized governance has implemented various burn programs for CRO. Of course, it's not kind of hundreds of millions of dollars of burns, but there are significant burns that are happening quarterly. I'm not involved in that. I'm benefiting from that, like any CRO holder. I think it's great that it's happening, but I think it's important that it's happening on healthy foundations.
Appreciate it, Ken. Thank you. And just for you, for reference as well, CrowFam, we have the ongoing burn of the 100 million per year, and we just finished 50 million. There's a total in the CRONOS POS burn info, $9.4 million. That is 100 million CRO, and there's about 26 million CRO right now pending to be burned. So this is done by a proposal. It happens, gets approved by the validator. So burning is happening, but of course, as Ken said, he's not from CDC, knew the answer, but still, it was a big one. And Craig, it's actually that one that you're asking. So everybody will understand. I get you. When we talk about meme coins, I think a lot of people, it's just so easy to say, well, why do we burn this? What do we? I get it, 100%. It's just that I also agree. We're never going to be able to fully appreciate something until eventually happens, which is in the future when CRONOS has a very good sustainable future and run, and those decisions are paying off later. That's my expectations, but we'll see. We don't know the future. Now, one question as well from the community is, we want to hear more from Ken. That's what they asked me. The last time that you had a space was roughly in early 2024. And the last space held by CRONOS Labs on X was in March. It was about CRONOS memes. And some of them before that were about, community and CK EVM. As the consolidation period continues, the community wants to hear more from you, more from the developers, more from the leaders, right? We're community members, we're passionate, we're crazy, and we have all ideas, and they're all welcome, right, to listen. But at the end of the day, they will appreciate, you coming and stopping by on the spaces, continuing giving support and providing leadership. That's something that I think they will really heavily look, because I know you are very well invested with the developer community. I see you in the Ethereum Community Conference. I've seen you, building something that for us is to use. But FYI, Ken, they want you to be a little bit more active. What do you think?
Yeah, it's great feedback. I think there are lots of people in the community who have emerged as opinion leaders and facilitators. You are one of them. Elder Carl is another one. Nathan from Ibisus Bay is another one. I think we're an ecosystem that is not meant to have a single leader at all. And I think, I'm glad to be living in an ecosystem that is that way. It's important to cater to the CRONOS community, but I think it's, at CRONOS Labs, we have a responsibility to the ecosystem to constantly be looking for new users, new developers, and to expand the scope. So we're doing that as well. And we're doing that for it to benefit the existing users. We want to bring more users to the user base. So it's an important priority for us as well. But I think the it's great to have feedback. We're doing this podcast today, so acting on the feedback already. In recent weeks, most of the questions that I was getting was like, when is this or that token going to be listed by crypto.com? Like I said before, I don't work at crypto.com. I'm not involved in listing decisions. I don't have any meaningful, I don't have any answer that will satisfy people who are asking those, who have those concerns. So it didn't really make sense to spend a lot of time offering non-answers to existing questions during that time. But I think now we have lots of things happening, and we are going definitely to engage more with the community.
Thank you and appreciate that. And as we get to the last two questions from what we have in store, I get it, everybody. We all want that 10, 100x to proudly say it came from CRONOS. I mean, Ken, we're seeing from base chain, from Solana, from Ethereum constantly going in. And it is normal that for some community members are like, when us? When us? I mean, we have everything. We have crypto.com. We have our name in arenas, in F1, in UFC, and different sports, and CRONOS as well. It's leader when it comes in Cosmos. I mean, I think the community could be more than excited for what's ahead. And that's, I think, a perfect segue to my question. The future of CRONOS. Where do you see this blockchain in our community eventually, now that we're going to have CKEVM by roughly the end of the cycle, which is going to be, or like the end of the bull cycle, in my opinion, Q3 2025? Where do you see us, Ken, by that time, this blockchain in our community?
So first of all, we are standing on the shoulders of the crypto ecosystem at large, and when Bitcoin does well, everything else does well. When Ethereum does well, everything else does well. So first of all, looking ahead, I'm still very confident about the ecosystem at large. Again, mostly because of what's happening in the US. And for sure, the CRONOS ecosystem at large will ride the upcoming waves. And so that is, this combined with mainstream adoption of crypto should lead to a bright future for the ecosystem and the developers building in that ecosystem. At the same time, I keep repeating that I think the narrative is not about waiting for the bright future, right? The narrative is if you're a crypto user looking for financial freedom, you need to take advantage of the opportunities that exist right now. And sure, it's great to be, as an invested member of the community, you should look at chain KPIs, TVL, number of users, and because it's important to grow these. But there are opportunities every day that warrant your attention. There are tokens being launched every week, projects that are doing 100x, 1000x. There are yield-bearing opportunities on tokens from various DeFi protocols that are 20, 50, 500%. All of those come with high risk and high volatility, so they're not for everyone. But that's what crypto is about. And I think when you look at the opportunities that exist on CRONOS, they are of a similar nature as the opportunities that you can find everywhere else. Sure, you can find more meme coins on Solana, but there are also more rug pulls and failed projects on Solana. So it's not because you don't need 100,000 meme coins. You need maybe 20, and you need to spread your bets across 20, and that's probably enough for you to take advantage of the wave. So there might be more volume of opportunities elsewhere, but I think CRONOS has a very strong and healthy ecosystem that has already reached critical size where there is enough of everything. There are meme coins, there are DeFi protocols, there are games. The Loaded Lion games was received extremely strong feedback from people as far as I could see on Twitter. There are enough opportunities for you to be busy. I think that's really the message that I want to convey. So someone who's focused on just like Crow reaching $1 is missing on what's really happening on the chain, I think.
Absolutely, right? I mean, that's of course where perfect dream world. I mean, that's if we're bullish on crypto in the long term, of course, kind of makes no sense. That's obvious, right? We have so much potential, but look at what's going on right now. Continue building, and what you mentioned, of course, about rock posted scams, it happened, right? Especially with the meme coin space this season, that also affected us too. It was nasty, but that happens to all blockchains, right? And it's part of the learning process. We'll have one more question, which I think is pretty cool when it comes to real world assets. As you know, bringing those to blockchain, it's important. This question says here that does CRONOS have any partner or plans, right, to reaching out to partners to convert RWA to the blockchain, especially now maybe with the CKEVM coming up?
No concrete plans yet, but yes, there is kind of a strategic direction. On CRONOS EVM, we've been regularly in contact with projects who wanted to introduce real-world assets to CRONOS. But I think probably because CRONOS EVM is not integrated with Ethereum, most of those discussions were with projects who were relatively small, limited in scope, like someone who wanted to sell maybe 10 apartments or on crypto, or a few kilograms of gold, something like that. So those discussions really never led anywhere. With CRONOS EVM, a layer 2 secured by Ethereum, I expect that the opportunities to attract institutional and corporate players and corporate custodians will be greater. So definitely there's a strategic direction with CRONOS EVM, which is to create an environment that fosters the rise of real-world assets. But no, there are no concrete plans that I can announce at the moment.
Appreciate it, Ken. Thank you. The Crow Farm is listening, and that's always good. Last one. Last words to the Crow Farm, Ken. You and I and many leaders, like you mentioned, opinion leaders, and the community as a whole, we have seen the ongoing changes in the crypto space, for the better, for the worst. Germany selling 2.9 billion of their wallet in Bitcoin, crashing the price of 53,000 BTC. But days later, back up, rising again because the bullish momentum. Then we have different announcements when it comes to the Bitcoin conference. Comes to Ethereum launching soon in a few more days here in July. Wow, I mean, it's hard to sleep nowadays when so many great news. If you understand crypto, what are the last few words of advice and wisdom that you want to share to the Crow fam so they can take home and continue enjoying the benefits of being in this chain?
Yeah, so I mean, I've said it a few times already, but I think it's as good a conclusion as I can muster right now, which is, so we're building a self-custodial ecosystem where every week there are new opportunities. Those opportunities vary depending on what is the dominant narrative in crypto. And I would really encourage users to not be stuck in the past, right? So there are cycles where tokens of a particular narrative are going up. There are there are periods of consolidation. There are periods where it makes more sense to focus your attention on yield farming than on token appreciation. It's important to be agile and take advantage of the fact that every week new projects are launching. So I encourage people not to be stuck in the past. What has worked in the past may not work at this particular moment. I also want to encourage people not to be too focused on the future. Of course, we want to build an ecosystem that has strong fundamentals in the future, but I'm not saying you need to wait 10 years for CRONOS to be useful. I really encourage people to be focused on the present, to take information from people like you and other opinion leaders in the community who are constantly surfacing new projects. We've done, I think, a commendable effort to increase the spotlight on project releases, both old and new projects, through the bi-weekly ecosystem recaps, through the Twitter spaces, through the website called discover.cronos.org. There are also other key opinion leaders and projects that have built various platforms where you can follow what's happening with the ecosystem. And so, I think there are great opportunities every single week. It's important to be up to date on what those opportunities are, and the ecosystem has nothing that does there's nothing that other ecosystems have that CRONOS doesn't have. Yeah.
There you go. So much to do, but I think the building has been done as well, and maybe ready. I think we're ready for what this upcoming rise in the interest, volume, liquidity is gonna come. So, Ken, as always, appreciate your time, friend, for stopping by to the channel, for reaching out to the community, to the Crow fam. It's obviously so much that we want to continue building, and well, this is the one step in the right direction into CRONOS to be the leader when it comes to more engagement, building, and financial freedom opportunities. Ken, I wish you guys the best. Continue building from Crow fam, and if anything, you let me know. Reach out to me as always.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Scar. Thanks to everyone who followed us today and stayed for more than 1 hour through that discussion. Let's do that again soon. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you, Ken. Have a good one. Thanks so much. Go ahead and perfect. All right, everybody. So there it is. Thank you again for coming up once again. Everybody watching, you now heard from Director of CRONOS Labs, Ken Timsit. We had a great conversation. Different questions were asked, a lot of different angles. CKEVM was touched, meme coins were touched, a lot of different things. We continue building. We continue here ready for us, bringing the Crow fam together. I appreciate you guys' time for all. You have a great time. Blessings to you all. Like and subscribe. Take a look at the links down below. Appreciate your questions. And I'll see you next time, everybody. Peace. Let's go.